Assalamu alaikum dear students, welcome to your channel The Anatomy Canvas, and in today's class I am going to discuss with you the histological model of the skeletal muscle. So here in this slide you can see that this is the histological model of the skeletal muscle system, and in which you can see these are the individual muscle fibers which are present over here, and these individual muscle fibers, when they join together, they form the muscle fascicles. So individual muscle fibers, you can see over here the individual muscle fibers, and when they are become collectively, they are forming the muscle fascicles. So many fascicles, when they combine, they form the whole muscle fiber itself. And in this skeletal model, you can see first these are the individual muscle fibers, also called the myofibrils, which are present, and these myofibrils are the structural unit of the skeletal muscle system. So these myofibrils are surrounded by a very delicate connective tissue which is reticular in nature. This connective tissue contains the reticular fiber, and this reticular connective tissue is given the name of the endomysium. These individual muscle fiber, also called the myofibrils, they join to form the muscle fascicle. So the muscle fascicle is surrounded by a moderately dense irregular connective tissue, and this moderately dense irregular connective tissue is called the perimysium. When the muscle fascicles join to each other and they form the larger muscle itself, so that is surrounded by the epimysium, which is the dense irregular connective tissue. So individual muscle fibers surrounded by the reticular connective tissue, these are the myofibrils surrounded by reticular connective tissue, and this reticular connective tissue is called the endomysium. And the muscle fascicle, which is surrounded by the moderately dense connective tissue, it is called the perimysium. So these connective tissue carries the blood vessels to the muscle. The epimysium carries the larger blood vessel, while this perimysium carries the smaller blood vessel, and endomysium carries the very thin delicate blood vessel, that is capillaries, the thin delicate blood vessel which are the capillaries to these individual muscle fibers. Also you can see in this model that here you can see these dotted appearance. These are actually the cut ends of the actin and the myosin filaments which are present over here. At the section you can see that here first I will describe this area. So in this you can see this area is the Z disc. Here you can see the Z disc which are present, and on each side of the Z disc you can see the light bands or the I bands which are present, and then you can see the A band or the dark band are present. So in light band the actin filaments are present, and in dark bands both actin and myosin filaments present. And here you can see this area is the H zone, and in the H zone in the center a line is present which is called the M line. So from one Z disc to the next Z disc, this is the whole sarcomere. So again I repeat, the Z discs which are present over here, the light bands on each side of the Z disc, the darker band and the H zone, and in the center the M line is present. Then moving on to this side, here you can see this one is the sarcoplasmic reticulum, and this sarcoplasmic reticulum forming the terminal cisternae over here. And on two sides you can see the terminal cisternae are present, and in the center in the blue color you can see the T tubules. So these T tubules are basically the invaginations of the plasma membrane, which is the plasma membrane of the skeletal muscle cell, and these sarcoplasmic reticulum forming the terminal cisternae. So these three structures forming the triad in the skeletal muscle, and this is a mechanism by which the action potential which is generated at the neuromuscular junction is rapidly transmitted through the T tubules into the deeper areas of the skeletal muscle, and upon stimulation of the action potential, the sarcoplasmic reticulum and T cisternae, they immediately release the calcium ion, which is a mechanism for the contraction of the skeletal muscle cells. Also in this area you can see this is the network of the T tubules which are present over here, and in the center you can see the individual muscle fibers which are present. Now moving on to this area of the skeletal muscle, here you can see the neuromuscular junction is present. This side is that of the muscle, and this is the plasma membrane, the sarcoplasmic membrane of the skeletal muscle, and this area is the nerve area of the nerve which is taking part in neuromuscular junction. So at this area you can see the numerous vesicles which are present. These vesicles are these vesicles contain neurotransmitter over here, which is in this case is the acetylcholine, and upon stimulation by the nerve fiber, this acetylcholine is released into neuromuscular space by the exocytosis. At this junction you can see also there is the folding of the plasma membrane of this skeletal muscle, and because of this folding the surface area is increased, and there are large number of receptors which are present to which acetylcholine binds, and then the nerve impulse is transmitted to the cell membrane. So this is the neuromuscular junction. Here you can see large number of the mitochondria are also present to provide energy, and here you can see this is the nucleus of the Schwann cell, and here in this area you can see the myelination. These are the myelin which is formed by the Schwann cell, and this area also you can see in the center you can see the axon is present, and around the axon you can see many turns of the myelin sheath which is formed by the Schwann cell in the peripheral nervous system. So this one is the nucleus of the Schwann cell. You can differentiate between these two nuclei as well. So this one is the nucleus of the skeletal muscle. It is related to the skeletal muscle, and as you people all know in histological slides that the skeletal muscle nuclei are present at periphery and they are elongated, while these are the nuclei of the Schwann cell which are present near the neuromuscular junction. So in this area also, so this one is the site of the nerve, so these all are the nuclei of the Schwann cells. Also on this area, as you know that this is the epimysium, which is the loose connective tissue or sometimes the moderately dense connective tissue, and this contains the irregularly arranged fiber. So this is the connective tissue, the epimysium. This one is the area of the nerve where you can see the nuclei of the Schwann cells which are present. In this too you can see the individual muscle fibers which are surrounded by the reticular connective tissue forming the endomysium. These individual muscle fibers join to form the muscle fascicle, and this fascicle is surrounded by the epimysium. This area is again that of the neuromuscular junction, as I have explained over here. This one is the nerve which is myelinated nerve, and in the section you can also see the axon which is present surrounded by the myelin sheath, and in this area you can see the sections of the skeletal muscle, the light band, in the center the Z disc, the dark band, and the axon, and also you can see the triad which is present in the skeletal muscle formed by the T tubules and the terminal cisternae of the sarcoplasmic reticulum. So this is all about this model. It is an easy model. Thank you very much for your attention. Allah Hafiz till the next class.